Hey guys, this is Adrian here with another release for Avo. I'm very excited about this release and I hope you are too. We have over 24 PRs merged since 2 weeks ago and we'll dive right in. But before, I just want to give a warm welcome to Paul. He just joined the team and he's going to help out with development tests. So say hello on Discord and on GitHub through the issues and PRs. Coolio. So let's dive in. As I mentioned, we have a lot of tickets. So we're just as usual, we're going to start from the bottom and refactor. We animated the menu transition. We'll get to that. It's basically this animation. So even when you're on mobile, you'll see the menu is a little bit swankier. It just retracts. We changed the fail to load illustration. Let's go to users and let's raise an error. Okay, so if we go and raise an error and sorry about that. Let's reload and let's raise an error. Now if I refresh and any of the turbo frames raise an error, then you'll see this new illustration here. Coolio. Next, add Avo debug param. So this is something that helped us in the past to troubleshoot some of the issues you guys had. So whenever you you're on an Avo page and you have the Avo debug param enabled, you can go and inspect that element and you'll see the raw value of that field. So this is very helpful for date and datetime fields. So if I go here, you'll see this is exactly what gets outputted from Avo. Cool. Make sure the init script builds assets. Thank you so much, Ian, for this. So basically, when you run bin init, it will also bundle the build assets initially. So that's cool. Reverting view component 2.6. Yeah, this was. If you want more details on that, you're just gonna have to read the ticket. But to make things brief, in 2.6 there was a breaking change in view components. We placed a ticket. The guys there were very nice and reverted the breaking change, and now we're good to go. Let's get to bug fixes. So date field wrongly subtracts time zone offsets. Yep. So because date and datetime actually use the same pieces of code. There was a bug where, like, this is February 9th. If you hit edit and then you would hit save, if you are on a Western time zone, this would go back to February 8th because it would offset the time zone difference. So that's fixed right now. External path detector. This was a bug where some links on the sidebar were detected as external and they actually weren't. So that is fixed. Fix form footers in the wrong place. So if we go to our initializer, if we use this this setting, buttons on form footers, and now I'm going to go and refresh and hit edit. This option actually adds the save and cancel buttons on the lower side. So these were placed somewhere around here. So now this is fixed. Overridden data attributes should take precedence. So the thing here was, let's see, on a course resource, this was brought in by somebody that was using the data attributes for stimulus integration. So if you had a field and you add the data attribute and you want to add the target to something else, and you already have like a course resource and toggle fields, the target for this element would be, I think it's text name field for each of these controllers. But if you add something else, this would be overridden by the default name and text naming convention. So now this takes precedence, and whatever you override it with, it's going to stick. Next, authorization actions broken for some associations. Well, it's exactly that. For some associations, they were broken for has many and has it belongs to many. So now all of these work very nice. So if you go to, I think, user policy, all of these like attach post and detach and view and others are now fixed. They all work as they should. Cool. Fix Trix input name for resources with more than one word in their name. So Ian, thank you so much for fixing our typos and wherever we messed up. So if you have a resource name myPost, then the resource name would be myPost with a space, and then the name of the field would be myPost with a space, and that's not okay. And this was fixed by this PR. So now the Trix would be the Trix field would be properly outputted to the page. Coolio. Make sure null values appear as empty. So let's go to projects, and it's about this, like the KeyValue field. So if you had like this field, one field that would be null in the database, instead of showing a blank, an empty string like this, it would actually show a string with the null value. So this has been fixed now. Thank you so much, Ian. Allow tools to come before fields. So if you wanted to add a tool, let's go to the fish resource because it's smaller. If you wanted to have a tool above a field and actually above like tabs, this would crash Avo because there was something we missed, but now we can do that. So you can add a tool before fields. Coolio. Allow heading in panels. The heading field, it's a special field. It's actually this one. So it just separates some fields above and fields below. And for some reason, they were not appearing inside panels. So if you had a panel like this one with multiple fields like birthday and first name and last name, if you wanted to separate them, the heading would just not show up. So now that is fixed as well. Multiple tabs flow out of the screen. Again, let's go to our fishies resource, and we have here a lot of tabs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, 8 tabs. And before it would just flow off the screen and you could scroll the whole screen. It was kind of a mess. But now we added this nice scrollable area. And besides that, we also added some styles for the Windows users. So whenever you have like scrollable fields, scrollable areas on Windows, you would have that big clunky scroll bar on top. I think it was the same on the sidebar as well. And we pushed some styling there to, first of all, have it hidden and then make it a little bit prettier. So if you like that, please tell us. If you don't, please tell us. Perfect. Has one field, shows only main panel. So actually this was happening, I think in, let's check out teams, go on a team. So this is a has one field. So a team has one admin, and before it would show the full panel and all of that user's associations below. So everything that user had like posts and comments and reviews, you would see them below, and that should not happen. You just need the main panel visible here. So that is fixed as well. Support date and datetime to clear the value. Ricky, thank you so much for helping us troubleshoot this and for pushing this PR. So now you can do exactly that and clear the fields on date and datetimes. You can go into user and you can just save it, and now the birthday is cleared. Coolio. So now for the features. We have some cool and exciting features. So let's take it bottom up again. So add path helpers to actions. So I'm gonna go into the dummy action, and before, if you wanted to do like redirect to, and you wanted to say like maybe root path or something, yeah, you can't really do that because you need to access your, first of all, this is a custom, this is not in a controller, so and this is not using a helper, so this would not work. And you actually need to write like main app because you are in a Rails engine. You can do main app.rootpath or avo.rootpath. But main app and avo weren't really accessible to this method, to this base action. So now we have exposed that. So you can use params, current user, you can use the context object, you can use avo, main app, and other cool helpers. So you can check out this PR for more info. Hide sidebar on desktop. Yep. So this is a cool one. This was a request from one of our users. So you can do this now. So I'm on desktop, I can see the sidebar, but if I want, I can close it down and go back to users and go to a different user and just browse the website. If you refresh the page, you'll see it's keeping the sidebar closed. So it uses cookies to do that. Next, protocol option for text field. Okay, so let's go to user resource. So imagine you have a field that is actually reading an email from database. So we added this new option to the text field. It's called protocol, and this is a mail to protocol. So now whenever I am on a show page or on index, this link will be prepended with mail to. So if you click that, you'll go to Google or whatever you have configured for yourself, or you can add tell or other protocols that you see fit. Nice. Resource controls on the left. Okay, so this has been requested for a while now. So whenever you're on a large table, on all the way on the right, you have these resource controls. And now if I go to the initializer and update this resource controls placement, and I'm going to say left and reload the page, you'll see I get the resource controls on the left and they are no longer on the right. So now I can even remove this ID links to resource. So this will be a string. These will be a string. Okay, I think this is configured in the resource. Yep, perfect. So now this is a string, or you can remove this as a whole. So you can remove the ID if you want to. So this is closer to your information. Cool. Hide pagination when few items. Okay, let's get into this. So whenever you're on a parent record and you have an association, let's find an association with a lot of records like teams, ID. So you have this one. So it's memberships, and you see the table with the memberships, and you have multiple pages. And maybe if you have like just one page, you still see displaying 10 items and per page picker, and maybe you want to hide that. And we've made that possible using the discreet pagination. So where is this? So course and course links. So if I go to a course and I go to the first one, you'll see this has 2 pages and I can see the pagination. But if I go back and go to the second one, this one has only 3, so it has only 1 page. So because it has 1 page, we just strip away, if you're using discrete pagination to true, we just strip away the pagination info. So this could help make it cleaner for some of your, for some scenarios. Allow custom fields in resource tools. Okay, let's go to, this is, actually I'm very excited about this. So a lot of you have asked the ability to create nested forms. So whenever you're on a, let's pick another one, whenever you're on a create form, you would like to maybe attach things, to have other things that are available to you on the show screen, maybe the memberships. So you can go to a team, create, and then you'd have a table for those memberships. And a lot of you have pointed out that there are gems that do that, and they do it very well. But in reality, when you're trying to abstract that away in a nice way, it gets a little bit tedious. So we are aware that everybody wants that, and we want to add that as well. But I think this feature right here is the initial iteration. So I'm gonna go to fish, to the fish resource, and I'm gonna hit create new fish. And on the fish resource, I have, actually, let's go and check out one fish. So I have this configuration where I have an ID, name, and type. And if I go to the fish resource to show you how that looks like, I have fields, ID, name, and type, simple like text fields. And I have this fish information resource tool. So when I'm on this page, on the show page, I get this resource tool that looks like the other panels on Avo. And I'm going to show you how that looks like with code. So it's just a partial that uses a panel component and it's just some HTML to render on the page. Coolio. But now in this resource tool, I added this form. I'm checking if the form is present, if the form is present on the page. And when I hit edit, you'll see that because I have the form present, I can attach fields to that form. So I can say form and add a text field, or do fields for and do it nested and so on. So now ignore for just a second that they are a little bit unstyled, but this is just to show that this works and you can build this for yourself. So now if I want to change the fish type to 222 and hit save, you'll see that the type has been overwritten in the database. So this is one thing that you can do, but you can do a lot more. So you can pass on like arrays or nested forms, and you can catch those and do whatever else you need. So I'm going to show you actually, let me show you the code here. So I have this form and properties attribute. So I'm sending the properties over. I'm going to hit save and check out the network. So on the post, you see the payload. So you see fish properties. So I have property 1 and property 2 I sent over, and fish information, name, history, and age. So I'm sending that over, but this model, the fish model, does not have fish type, properties, or information on the database. But I have augmented that using, fish, using setters on this model. So this model now accepts a fish type, attribute, properties, and information. So these things land here, and you can do a lot more things. So you can do things like value, each, and say like val and whatever. And now you can you can create something, some other things like property, new, and pass in the value. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. So you can essentially nest things inside like inside the forms for Avo. So you can take this a little bit further and make Avo as you need it to be. So you can pass in like strings, arrays, you can pass in hashes, and whatever you need. There's one requirement you need to do, and I'm going to go to the fish resource. So because we are passing on some maybe unsafe params, we need to make them safe. So we have this new property on the resource, extra params. And whatever you pass here is going to be passed over to that model, to the param. So it's going to say something like params, permit, and it's going to say something like, okay, resource that extra params. Okay, so whatever you put in here is going to be forwarded to the params, and whatever this call extract is going to be forwarded to that model. So you gotta make sure that the properties you are sending, like fish type, properties, and information, whatever attributes you're sending are either on a fish on that model, or you set up a setter. Okay. So, but I'm very excited about this because it really opens up a whole new world of opportunities here. So you can do whatever you want. Actually, just as a demo, like the information age, we're sending over information age, but because we have not specified that you can do that, so information takes only name and history. If we check the console, you'll see information in the fish model, you see name and history, so you don't get the age. So we are just permitting some params. Again, I'm very excited about this. I hope you are too. So this could be like the first iteration of nested forms, and surely after your feedback, we can incorporate them a little bit better in the main framework in Avo. Another thing that we are exploring is, okay, these are unstyled right now, and probably, I mean, they are styled. You can check out the source code and see how we style this input to look just like this one. But maybe you want, this is not a good label for this. Maybe you want this look. So in the future, we are experimenting with new custom components. So you can essentially do something like, let's say, render Avo text field component and say name, it's actually fish type. Let's do it like this, and then I don't know, maybe value is something else, and so on. And this component will actually render this. Let me just comment this out. So this view component would actually render the same styling, the same as this. So you could take the design and take the same design and use it inside your resource tools or custom tools and custom pages, just like you are using the panel component, like this one right here, the Avo panel component. And then again, I don't want to spoil anything, but in the future, when this is going to become themable, so you're going to change the label, the size, or colors or whatever for the input as well, everything would just be transformed, even the ones you are writing, you're going to write over here. So that would be like maybe the third iteration for like forms. So when everything is going to be themable, you'll be able to transpose that in just one update. Okay, so I'm very again, I said it, I'm very excited about this. I hope you are too. So custom fields and resource tools, let me know what you think. We really want to see how you're going to use it, and we need your feedback. Cool. The next feature, use custom resource for has many. Thank you so much, Paul. I think this is, this is your second PR since you're on the team, but I think it's your 10th PR overall. So thank you so much for everything. So use custom resource for has many field. Again, I'm excited about this too. So I'm going to go, let's see, use resource. And where do we use it? Okay, post resource. So we are on the post resource, and we have a has many field. It's comments. And usually if you don't pass in anything, this will figure out if there is a resource called comment, and it will go to this one and we'll use these fields. So this one has ID, body, tiny name, posted at. But maybe you want this, you want that view, and I'm just going to go there. Let me close this. So posts. And let's select another one. So for comments, so ID, tiny name, posted at user. Yeah, so this will use all that information from the comment resource. Oh, sorry about that. So it will use all of this information. So if I take out tiny name and posted at, it's just going to be the ID. Okay, but maybe you don't want to mess around with ifs or visibility statements, and you just want to use a different resource for that. Well, the new option, use resource, is just for that. So we created a new resource called photo comment, and it's here, photo comment resource. And whatever you configure inside, like you tell it what the model class is, you can change the fields for this particular resource. Whatever you tell it, this would be the one used for the has many. So now if I go back to the post and refresh the page, the has many is actually using the photo comments resource. So now you see you have tiny name and photo and user. So the photo field comes from this photo resource. The comment resource does not have photo. So now you can go further and customize your has many associations even more. So you can use custom things for that field. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that as well. Thank you so much, Paul, for bringing this on. This is an amazing contribution. So that's about it for our release for today. It's a big one, so take your time, check it out, leave your feedback. I want to show you something that we have been working on. So let me just revert these and switch branches. Okay, so customizable resource controls. There's a PR open. It's still not finished. I invite you to check it out. So I told you last time that I want to give this area a little bit more love to make it a little bit more customizable and to your liking. I know some of you told me about this, that you want to maybe hide buttons, but not like with the policies and so on. So I took a stab at it. So I'm going to go to the fish. Let me just close everything down and fish resource. Now let me just comment this out and do another one. Okay, so now we have a new option. Actually, this is not released yet. It's incoming. So I have a new option, show controls. So whenever you enable this, it will basically on the show page. Okay, maybe still needs some work. So whenever you enable this and add a button, it will basically turn off all the default buttons and will read this configuration. So you have a few built-ins like back button, you have delete and detach button, okay, you have the actions list, and you have the edit button available. So you have all of these available, and if you add them, these look just about the same that they looked when they were default. But you can do some more things. You can do something like label, and you can pass in nothing to the back button. And now the back button only shows the icon. I can remove it as well, so the back button gets removed. And you can do the same thing for the delete and edit button. You can do like same thing, label nothing, and that's perfect. Okay, but we prepared something cooler. So you can do a link to, and I'm gonna say fish.com. This is not a paid advertising gig. HTTP fish.com. And now we have a new link, a new button, a text button. When I click on it, it will take me to fish.com. But I can do target blank. And now it will open a new one. And I can do things like style and make it primary. So by default is going to be a text style. So the text just shows the text, and whenever you hover, you see the outline. But this now it becomes a button, as you can see it. So the primary is a button with a fill color. You can say outline, and this is going to be an outline. And then you can set a color, and you can use fuchsia. I think this is it. And you can use any of Tailwind's colors. So you can change this back to primary if you want to. And this is going to be a fuchsia button. And you can also add icons. So we go hero icons, outline, globe. And we'll probably strip these in the future and we'll just say globe and we'll use the outline. But this is it for now. So now you see that nice icon on the side here. What else? I was thinking like something even cooler. So you can even add data attributes. You can add like class attributes here. Underline. Let's see how this works. Underline. And you can even add data attributes. So you can add data, and I'm going to copy this turbo frame helper here. So you can add turbo frame. So this really opens up a lot of functionality. But actually, I'm going to leave that alone and just copy the whole thing because I have that URL prepared. So what I did before is on the fish information HTML. So on this HTML over here, I have this turbo frame this text is wrapped into a turbo frame with the idea of fish custom action demo. And it says like this text will change when you press the turbo demo button on the top. So this is a turbo demo, and what that button does is it's a link to the same page, but it has a change to param, and I'm gonna give it this is just a random text, and it's going to use that turbo frame. So when I'm going to show you the HTML again. So the turbo frame, it's here somewhere. Okay, fish custom action demo, and it says like if you give me this page with a change to param, I'm going to show the change to, otherwise I'm going to show this placeholder text. Okay, so now when I click this button, just keep your eyes here. You see turbo just comes over and just makes everything on the page a little bit more dynamic. So this opens up a whole world of opportunities, like how you can style things and how you can make them more dynamic, or how you can influence and make your user's experience much better. And there's one more thing for this feature, which I truly love. So you can do, let me just write this one. This one I'm very excited about. So I'm going to say action release fish. So this is a regular avo action, and I'm just going to leave it like that. So release fish, let's make it prettier. So style, primary, color, teal, let's say. Perfect, release fish. So let me show you what this action does. Release fish. It goes through the models and just call the release method. So this is a simple avo action, but you can do a lot more with this. So now because I added it here, I have this new button. It's not under action. Actually, it is under actions, but we'll talk about that later. But now it has its own separate button. So think of this like publish posts or disable account or whatever you need it to do. And in the back end, it will run this avo action, which you can run without like even like showing a modal. But if I click it, I get this modal like with a release fish. And do you want to release it? Yes, run it. And action runs successfully. I can even add fields to this action. And they'll just show up. So you can write whatever, and then you'll have access to whatever the user passed in through args of fields, right? So you'll have access to that as well. So again, I'm very excited about this, but let's get back to this one. Like actions, you see there's no release fish. There are two actions with release fish. So now you can fix that by going to actions list and say exclude. Sorry. Release fish. And now, oh, sorry, this is not here. And now it will just filter out that action that I just passed in. So you can actually really omit this if you don't need it. One thing that you need to do is add the detach button if you need it, detach button. So this will not show up right now, but if I had a fish, let me see, I think I have users, a user has a fish. Yes, you can see the detach here because this is now in an association, right? So this could this just came to mind. You can use this turbo link to actually influence something on the parent panel as well. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. I hope you find this exciting as well. Yep, so this is pretty much what we have for customizable resource controls. This will work only on the show page. We plan to bring it on the edit page and over here as well. So in these resource controls, maybe you want to add some actions here, like you'd have a special button for the release fish action. Who knows? Yep, but we'd like to hear your feedback first on the show iteration, on the show screen iteration, and if everything goes well, we'll replicate it everywhere. I really hope this answers some of your questions, like how can we customize these buttons, and helps you make a better experience for your customer. We have some new things. So first of all, we created, so if we go back to the homepage, we have this new, where is it, contributors page. So it's from our friends from Chatwood. It will just go through all of the contributors and create like a board of contributors where you can see the commits and what they have committed to our repo. So thank you. This is our way of saying thank you. We have also good first issues. So if you want to contribute to something, we have this good first issue label here. So if you want to just get started with Avo, we have approaches on most of them. If not, please drop us a comment, and we'd love to help you navigate the code. And we also added Avo to code triage. So if you're into that, if you're on this platform and you want to subscribe to Avo and help us out in your spare time, this is also something that you can do, and we truly appreciate it. Going forward, we are going to focus on the customizable controls. So we want to finish this off, and we probably need to add some authorization rules and some other things, and we want to finish this area off. And then I think I mentioned it the last time. I want to redo the documentation website because it's very cluttered and clunky, and it doesn't really work sometimes. So if you go to a new page, it doesn't redirect you there, it doesn't scroll. So I want to change this and make this a better experience all around. We might lose some of those links that we had because I want to reorganize it a little bit as well. Now we have, like, for the resources, all the options for the resources are on one page, and maybe some of them deserve their own pages, and the same with customization and fields and so on. So I want to improve the documentation too, and this will take some time as well. We do have a few bugs we discovered, and we want to fix them. So these are going to be addressed as well in this let's call it sprint. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm thinking of making a AMA, like Ask Me Anything, on a Friday or a Thursday, where maybe I give like half an hour of my time, and people can come in and ask me questions, and maybe talk about the future developments, and maybe if somebody has an idea and they don't want to get on Discord or GitHub and want to talk to me. So I'm thinking of doing that. So if you think like an office hours section would be good, please let me know. Send us your feedback, and like, generally speaking, just send us your feedback. I love, and Paul does, and everybody loves to hear about how you're using Avo and how you're maybe hacking it and making it work to your advantage. And thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next week, and we'll see each other on the channels. See you. Bye.